Question: who's going to record a video in the middle of a thunderstorm about stuff that I have found over time? Well, I don't know about Steve. He's recording his video about stuff that he has found over time. But I'm not sure if he's in a thunderstorm in Florida. Okay. But it's definitely a thunderstorm in New York City. Hi, this is Jan from New York City, and my channel name is Jan from New York City Saves Money. How's everybody doing today? Listen, Steve's going to share some stuff that he has found in his life. There were many more things that I have found, but I can't remember every one of them. But these few have struck out. Let's get started with this. About 1981, in Queens, New York, I was going home, and I was going up the outside stoop to enter the house where I used to live in Queens. And what do I find? A Bulova watch. Bulova watches are a good quality watch. And it wasn't just a Bulova watch from like current at that time. It was a vintage one. And it was definitely beautiful, and the strap was gold and very skinny. And I asked, and people were honest and said, no, it's not theirs, no, it's not theirs. So after a period of time, well, it became mine. But I gave it to somebody with a thin wrist. My wrist was just too big for it. So, but that was a fun find. A Bulova watch. It had little diamond chips in it too. It was beautiful. Next, about 1985 or 86, I was on my way to teaching at the school where I taught. And this was about 7 o'clock in the morning when I got into Manhattan. And making a long story short, what do I find? You hear the thunder? This is real life. And what do I find? I find a wallet. Nobody was around. There's nobody to ask who it belonged to. 0 people. Deadsville. 7 o'clock. Where was everybody? But anyway, I picked up the wallet. I looked in for identification to see if I could try to track down the person. There was no ID in it, but there was a $20 bill with 4 singles. And at the end of the day, I became the proud owner. Finders keepers. Next, I might have mentioned this on another show. No, actually, I definitely mentioned this on another show in the past. I went to throw out trash in the building's compactor room. And guess what? One person's trash is another person's treasure. Somebody threw away a perfectly good karaoke machine. Perfectly good. Not a scratch on it. Totally worked. Totally excellent. And of course, I became the proud owner. Excuse me. 1988. I believe this was in Masbeth, Queens. I find a perfectly gorgeous wicker straw. It looked like wicker, but it was in the shape of a suitcase, and it was well made, and it looked like something from the Roaring '20s. And it was in excellent condition. So when I picked it up, somebody trashed this. And when I picked this up, it was heavy. So I took a chance and I opened it. What was it filled with? The entire box was filled with old 78 record albums in perfect condition. 78. Told you it was thundering. I can't make this stuff up. I guess the angels are bowling. That was a joke my parents used to say every time to, calm us down when we were kids. The angels are bowling. Anyway, next, on a very, very lucky day in my life, it was actually my birthday. I think it was my 40th birthday. I was going to a flea market, and my husband and I, we parked the car. We were quite a bit of a distance from the flea market, but it was a very, very windy day. December, windy, gray, dark, kind of rainy. But what flew out of nowhere, because there was no one else around us, and landed on my shoe? $20. And it was a lucky $20 bill. I was going to use it for lunch, and my husband said at that time, he says, "You are not spending that. I'm going to treat you to your birthday lunch." So what did I do? And yes, the bird clock is going off. I have a lot of company all the time. Anyway, so instead of my spending that money on the lunch, what I ended up doing, I bought a couple of lottery tickets. Lo and behold, I scratched off the ticket and won $100 on that lottery card that I used a couple of dollars from the money that fell on my shoe. Talk about a lucky birthday. I'll never forget that. All from something found. Okay. There was a book years ago that I loved. It was called A Complete Medical Makeover. Then somehow it got lost in a move. And I couldn't find that book ever again. I just couldn't. But I was in a random location in another building that I used to live that had like a community room that had like a little library with it. And people would donate their books that they no longer use. Lo and behold, I found that book again. I don't know if you could pick up all the thunder sounds, but this should be interesting. Anyway, I did find that book again. This time around, I shared it with someone. Now, the medical theories were from 1986 about, but the theories were great. I just enjoyed that book, and I was glad I had a chance to read it again. And another time, bonus find, I was coming home from Bayonne, New Jersey. Oops, the lights blinked. This is getting really creepy. Anyway, all in real time here. Anyway, making a long story short, I found $5 next to my shoe. I must have very lucky feet. In the meantime, go over to Steve Young 74's channel and find out what he has found. This is fun. Hey, list some of the stuff that you have found that you never forgot about. And thank you for spending some time with me on a rainy, thundery afternoon. Have a great, great day.